What's good, YouTube? It's your boy DJ LiftOFF with the JP Way, and you don't want to miss this flight. In today's video, we're going to be going over how you can use the roll feature to create tons of creative transitions. We'll be taking it step by step, going over how to use the roll, then we'll hop into the transitions. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get it started. Alright DJs, to start this tutorial, we're gonna first go over what the roll is and how it works. So if you already know all of the functionalities of the roll, go ahead and skip this part. But if you need a refresher or to know how it works, go ahead and stick around. So first, if you are using the DDJ Rev 1, go ahead and activate roll mode. To do that, we're just gonna hold shift and we're gonna hit auto loop. As you can see under that auto loop, we have roll. So that's gonna actually activate our roll section. After you have roll activated, if you go ahead and press on your pads, you'll see that they illuminate and then they go out, which is also going to line up with if you look in Serato as well. The top four are going to correspond with the top four layers there in Serato DJ Pro, as well as the bottom four are going to correspond with the bottom four in there as well. So essentially all of these numbers in Serato DJ Pro are going to represent actual beats. So if we go ahead and hold this pad here, this is going to be one beat. So if we go ahead and play a song, it's going to repeat one beat. And then obviously if you press the other pads, they're also going to correspond with the beats that they have there. So instead of one beat, this right here will be half a beat. And lastly, one thing to remember about the roll is if you actually hold on to a particular pad, you can actually affect the same sound or sample that you're using, but only if you hold on to it. So this is what I mean by that. So if I go ahead and hold this here, I can now go down to half. I can also go down to 1/4. And as you can see, I'm still using the same snap and the same sound. I can even go up as well. So that right there is how the roll section essentially works. And there's so many different ways that you can use the roll as a DJ. So now I'm just gonna show you a couple ways that I like to use the roll and that hopefully you can implement into your DJ sets. So as you can see in both of these transitions to start off with, I started by just holding the one beat pad right here in the top right. And then I actually went down to the half beat, to a 4th beat, and then lastly an 8th beat. So in the first type or the first transition, I actually just went ahead and faded it out. And then in the second transition, I actually used the filter knob. So both of these are extremely similar transitions, but just feature different ways that you can actually transition out. One by using the filter, one by simply fading. But let's get the actual timing down. So essentially all I did was I started using this one beat pad here, 2 bars before the one dropped on this side. So that's the thing you have to remember. For this particular transition that I did, you want to start 2 bars before the one of the song that you're actually dropping. So when you start by holding the one on those last 2 bars, you're essentially just going to hold the one for 4 beats. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. As I said, the entire thing is 2 bars. So that covers 1 bar. Then you're going to go ahead and hold the half beat for 2 beats, so 1 and 2, and then for the last 2 beats individually, you're gonna go to the 4th for 1 beat, then you're gonna go to the half beat for the last beat. Let's go ahead and do that, but slow it down so you know exactly what this sounds like. And again, remember, this is 2 bars before the 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 2 and 3 and 4 and essentially that's all you have. And then on the other one, of course, all I did was the exact same thing, except I used the filter, so you can filter down or you can filter up. And then as soon as you're done, or as soon as the other song drops, you want to actually drop your volume, especially when you're using the low pass filter, because if you're using something like a kick or the song on this deck has a lot of bass, that bass can still come through with the low pass filter. For example, you can still hear this, right? So if we actually just went ahead and did the filters, and then we let go, we can still hear this. So right at the end, if you're using the filter, you want to just zero out that track as soon as you're done with your roll. When you're doing this transition, one way to do it with just one hand is to start with your pinky, then your ring finger, then your middle finger, then your index finger, and then you can just fade it out with your thumb. Obviously, when you're using this, your filter knob, you're going to have to use two hands, and then you can do it the same way, just like this, filter it out. And then as soon as you're done with the filter, go ahead and use your thumb to go ahead and push that down.
Now I stay around, cause you'll be using me like I be using you, baby. You'll be using me like I be using you, baby. That's a fair trade, and we both using each other, oh, that's a fair trade.
As you can see in that transition, I just used the one beat here on the pad. So just by holding that on a particular part of the song, and then I went ahead and just used the echo, so activate that effect, and then I went ahead and just faded this out as well. So in that example, you can see that I use the one beat pad right here. So I just used that on a particular part of the song, and then I went ahead and activated the echo as well. As you see my level and depth, it was pretty much near the middle, which is a good safe spot to leave your level and depth. Sometimes I do like to leave it a little bit lower if I want the trail to be a little bit longer, or you can go ahead and make that a little bit higher to make a shorter trail. But nonetheless, I went ahead and activated that echo, and then I faded out the track. So that's another way that you can use it, the roll, just using literally just one beat, holding that, and then echoing the song out.
Pretty Ricky, Ricky, Ricky. Pretty Ricky, Ricky, Ricky. Pretty Ricky, Ricky, Ricky. Pretty Ricky, pretty Ricky, pretty, pretty, pretty Ricky, pretty Ricky, pretty Ricky, pretty, pretty, pretty Ricky, pretty Ricky, pretty Ricky, pretty, pretty, pretty Ricky, pretty Ricky, pretty Ricky, pretty Ricky, pretty Ricky.
So as you can see there, again, I started with the one beat pad, which I typically start with. I like to use the one beat pad a lot, although sometimes I do start with other pads. But in that particular example, you can see that I just played around with the vocal sample just a little bit by using or holding onto this one beat pad, then going to the half. So definitely feel free to definitely be creative and try to play around with different samples, whether it's a vocal or it's an actual part of the song that's a sound. Definitely always try to stay creative. And then as you can see at the end there, I went ahead and activated some reverb, and then I just reverbed that out. In another video, I talked about how you should always try to like double up different transition types. So this would be me using the roll is one transition type, and then using the reverb, which is two transition types or another transition type combined into one. So that's 2 for 1. So as you can see in those last two transitions, I just tried to be as creative as possible. So sometimes using this half, sometimes using the fourth, sometimes holding the half and then hitting the fourth on different claps or different kicks. Definitely just try to stay as creative as possible. Don't forget that you can also add using the filter in there. You can also add using like the echo, the reverb, the delay, any effect that you want to add, trying to make that 2-in-1 transition. So like I always say, definitely just stay creative, play around with the roll. Definitely use this video as a starting point, even try to duplicate these and then try to make some of your own. So with that said, I hope you all found this video helpful. If you did, please hit that subscribe button, share it with a friend. Also go ahead and hit that like button and turn on those notifications so you know the next time that I drop a video. But with that said, I'll catch y'all on the next one.